Welcome to Augmented Voices. This is the deep dive where we explore how generative AI is really changing the business landscape. We focus particularly on financial services, tech, and small and medium-sized businesses right here in the UK.
Yeah, we try to cut through the noise, find the signals that matter for you, the informed listener.
And today we're diving into some, well, pretty significant moves from Microsoft. We want to unpack what they could mean for your business strategy.
That's right, we're looking at two main things today. Microsoft's big 50-day AI Skills Fest, and also the major upgrade they've given to their AI assistant, Copilot.
Okay, so the goal is to pull out the really crucial insights, yeah? See how this might actually impact strategy operations, especially for UK firms.
Exactly, let's get into it.
All right, let's kick off with this AI Skills Fest then. Now, my first reaction was, okay, another tech company training offer. But looking deeper, it seems more strategic. What's your take?
Oh, absolutely, it's strategic. What makes it stand out, I think, is the sheer breadth of it. They're not just targeting the usual suspects, developers, IT pros.
Right.
We're aiming at managers, people in the public sector, even students via things like Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's really broad.
So what does that signal then, that broadness?
It signals pretty clearly, I'd say, that AI literacy isn't niche anymore. It's becoming, or they want it to become, foundational for everyone across all sorts of roles and sectors.
Sort of like knowing how to use email or spreadsheets now?
Kind of, yeah. It feels like Microsoft is proactively trying to build this whole ecosystem of AI-savvy people, which, could give them a real leg up here in the UK where, let's face it, this kind of widespread AI understanding is still pretty new.
That makes sense, especially, with the UK government pushing AI adoption. Businesses are being told, go use AI, but lots are probably thinking, okay, but how do we upskill our teams?
Exactly. And Microsoft seems to be saying, here's a starting point, almost a blueprint, really.
And it's not just the training sessions themselves, is it? They're weaving their whole suite, Copilot, Azure, AI Foundry, LinkedIn Learning, into this.
Spot on. It's deeply integrated. They're not just teaching AI concepts in isolation. They're teaching it within their environment, making their platforms the place you go to learn and do AI.
So Azure AI Foundry, that's their platform for the more advanced stuff, building and deploying models.
That's the one. Including that really underscores the practical, hands-on application they're pushing for. It's clever because it creates this pull towards their whole ecosystem for the long term.
Okay, and what about that Quake 2 remake using Muse AI? Seemed a bit flashy, or is there more to it?
Well, it is flashy, but it's smart marketing. It's called proof of concept marketing. It instantly shows the creative, the visual side of generative AI.
So moving beyond just data crunching and automation.
Precisely. A visual demo like that grabs attention, helps people, especially maybe leaders who aren't super technical, imagine possibilities they wouldn't otherwise. It makes it tangible.
So a big takeaway from the Skills Fest seems to be this understanding gap. It's not just about lacking coding skills, but leaders maybe not fully grasping what AI can already do.
Yeah, and the potential blind spot there, the source material pointed out, teams might already be using things like Copilot informally, sort of under the radar.
And leadership might not be fully aware.
Exactly, which is a risk, right? You could be missing out on efficiencies, best practices, but also maybe overlooking governance, security issues.
So Microsoft's broad approach, students to execs, is trying to close that gap across the board.
Seems that way. And it's definitely a strategy UK businesses should be thinking about internally, too. How do we bridge our understanding gap?
Right. So, okay, let's get practical. What are some actionable things UK businesses, maybe particularly SMEs, should consider?
Well, first off, formalize AI learning. Move beyond just letting people tinker informally. Build proper structured learning pathways. You need real competency.
And not just training for training's sake. It needs to link back to actual business goals.
Absolutely crucial. Link the training directly to outcomes. If you're training operations on AI automation, make sure it's focused on hitting, say, measurable targets like reducing turnaround times. Makes it real. Shows the ROI.
The point about leveraging freebies and discounts during things like the Skills Fest seems relevant too, especially for smaller firms.
Definitely. It's a low-cost, low-risk way to experiment. SMEs should actively look for ways to use these offers to try things out, see what AI can do for specific projects or teams without a massive initial investment.
And the last point was about showcasing your own wins, wasn't it? Finding your internal Quake 2 moment.
Yeah, exactly. Find projects, even small ones, where AI has clearly helped. Then shout about it internally. Build that confidence, demystify it, get more people on board.
Okay, let's pivot then. The Copilot upgrade. This sounds like more than just a few new features. What's the core change here?
The big shift is Copilot moving from just being a reactive assistant, answering your questions, to something much more integrated, more contextually aware, almost like a companion AI.
How so? What features signal that?
Things like memory, remembering past interactions, the ability to actually do things like complete transactions, personalized podcast creation, which is interesting, understanding visuals on your phone, and having its own native Windows app.
So it's less like a separate tool and more woven into the fabric of how you work.
That's the idea. It suggests a future where the OS itself becomes intelligent. It's less about launching specific apps, more about this AI layer understanding you and helping you across everything you do. It fundamentally changes the human-computer interaction.
And this phrase proactive productivity came up. What does that actually look like day to day?
Okay, imagine Copilot sees you've got a big client meeting tomorrow. Based on your recent work, project files, past chats, it might proactively gather the key documents, maybe suggest talking points, perhaps even draft a follow-up email template.
All without you explicitly asking it to do those specific steps.
Right. It anticipates your needs based on context and your learned preferences. That's moving beyond reaction to proaction. For businesses, especially in service, finance, professional sectors, that could be a huge time saver and efficiency booster.
Which leads to another interesting point, this idea that AI like this might actually reduce the number of decisions we have to make.
Yeah. Think about cognitive load. If the AI understands company goals, team dynamics, your preferences, it can filter information better, draft initial comms, automate routine stuff more intelligently.
So it handles the preliminary steps, the filtering, freeing you up.
Exactly. Frees up mental energy for the more complex, strategic, creative thinking. Less decision fatigue, potentially better focus, maybe even improved job satisfaction. It's quite a shift in thinking.
So UK firms still seeing AI as just another tool, an add-on, might be missing the bigger picture, the operating system itself getting smart.
I think they might be, yes. The potential gains aren't just incremental speed-ups. They're about fundamentally changing workflows when AI is deeply integrated, not just bolted on. It demands a mindset shift towards AI as infrastructure.
Okay, so for leadership teams listening, what are the practical implications here? What should they be thinking about with this more capable Copilot emerging?
Well, first, rethink employee enablement. Maybe design roles around desired outcomes, not just specific tasks. Let the AI handle more routine elements using things like Copilot vision or actions.
Freeing people up for the more nuanced stuff.
Precisely. Work that needs critical thinking, creativity, complex problem solving, the human skills.
And the memory feature really highlights data, doesn't it? Getting your data house in order.
Absolutely critical. Copilot's memory, its learning, it's only as good as the data it can access. Well-integrated CRM data, project tools, knowledge bases, that becomes a massive competitive advantage. Clean, accessible data fuels effective AI.
And the personalization aspect, using Copilot to tailor interactions.
Huge potential there. Imagine it helping you recall specific client preferences, past issues, current projects, then tailoring your communication automatically. That creates much stronger, more effective touch points, crucial for loyalty in any sector.
And finally, it underlines this need for AI literacy across the whole organization, right? Not just the techies.
Definitely. Everyone from interns to the C-suite will increasingly need to be fluent with these tools. So comprehensive training, yes, but also actively building trust and understanding around these technologies is key.
So pulling it all together, the big strategic message for UK businesses seems to be, don't just dabble. Integrate AI strategically into core operations. That's where the real performance gains are.
Exactly. And don't wait for some perfect playbook to land on your desk. You need to be proactive, developing your AI strategy now.
Because the competitive edge is shifting, isn't it? It's not just having AI, but how effectively you weave it into how you actually operate.
Spot on. It's about building that AI into your business DNA.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the key takeaways for our listeners. Firstly, that AI Skills Fest, it's a massive signal. Foundational AI literacy is becoming essential. UK firms need structured learning paths tied directly to business goals.
Right. And secondly, the upgraded Copilot, it's moving towards being intelligent infrastructure. It understands context, it's proactive. This means rethinking roles, getting your data sorted, leveraging personalization, and really driving AI literacy everywhere.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If Microsoft is pushing this hard to embed AI understanding from, Minecraft players all the way up to CEOs, What are the hidden opportunities in your organization to build a truly AI native culture?
Because the future really isn't just about using AI tools. It's about building your whole operation with an AI-first mindset. And, well, the time to start that internal transformation is definitely now.